This is Earl Nightingale. Have you ever given much thought to the value of ideas? From less than worthless, they run the gamut all the way into the hundreds of billions of dollars. From the wheel to the zipper, fire to the home permanent, the bow and arrow to the H-bomb, electricity to the ion engine, each has been drawn from that bottomless, richest of all minds, the brain of man. Everything you and I will ever have will come to us as the result of the way we use our minds, the one thing we possess that makes us different from all other creatures. And the highest function of which our minds are capable is to think creatively. This is the kind of thinking that puts a fresh new face on the world, and all of our progress has come, now comes, and will come as a result of creative thinking, from using our brains creatively. But what is a brain? Well, it's a priceless resource that is given free to each human being at birth. It's as though the Creator said, "Here you are, you now have a copy of the creative agent that produced the plays of Shakespeare, bridged San Francisco Bay, and harnessed the energy and fire of the sun. I put it into your keeping for the span of your life. Do with it what you will." A British neurophysicist has said that if we were to try to approximate electronically an average human brain, it would cost $3 billion. That's the number 3 followed by 18 ciphers. And you and I each own one. Yes, you have a gold mine between your ears, your mind, your imagination. But for most of us, owning this greatest of all earthly possessions is like owning some great complex Chinese puzzle containing, at its heart, a jewel of great value. We have to find the secret key that will enable us to unlock the puzzle's treasure. Do you realize that nothing has yet been done perfectly? Everything in the world remains to be done or done over. A major magazine recently reported that 1 out of every 4 products advertised in a particular issue was little more than an idea or a project in experimental laboratories 10 years ago. Today, more money is spent for research and development in a single year than was spent during the first 150 years of our nation's history. No one product has ever been manufactured, distributed, advertised, or sold as efficiently as it might be, and someday will be. There isn't in all the world a perfectly managed business, organization, institution, or government. The greatest picture hasn't yet been painted. The ideal labor contract is yet unwritten. The best way to train salesmen, an easy way to stay slim, something to prevent baldness, a better mousetrap, all of these problems are still unsolved. Physics, mathematics, and chemistry are still being revised. Psychology, sociology, and economics await another Darwin. Nothing is known completely and positively. Nothing has been done finally and right. Everything changes. So the world waits, and then moves forward in surges as here a man and there a woman makes a fresh and daring discovery or proposes some bold new ideas. And most of these contributions to social and scientific progress come from creative individuals who have the courage and strength to challenge and break the bonds of conventional, routine, average thinking. Yes, in this swift-moving world, there's tremendous opportunity for the men and women who use more of their total brain power. So, use your mind to think about the things which need to be done or done over, starting right where you are today. Your brain is always ready for instant use. It thrives on exercise. How about giving it some right now? The best way to exercise your brain is to ask yourself questions. So try these. 1. How can I improve myself so that I can become a better person? 2. How can I get along better with my customers, colleagues, friends, family? 3. What can I do to increase my value and advance faster in my organization? 4. How can I come up with new ideas for advancing my profession or improving the business I'm in? Think about how you can create something in your work, in your life. Remember, nothing is done. Nothing is final and complete. You've done important, significant things in the past, and you can do more if you will use more of your full brain power now and in the years ahead. Thank you. One of the outstanding pioneers in creative thinking in America is Dr. Alex F. Osborne. He founded the Creative Education Foundation, which holds annual seminars at the State University of New York at Buffalo. Years ago, I became intrigued by Dr. Osborne's common-sense approach to the exploration of the mind, and had the good fortune to meet him, and then to teach his fine course in creative thinking. That was back in 1953. Well, since that time, I've worked to spread the word about creative thinking, and have tried to make myself more proficient in the development and use of my own mental abilities. The results have more than repaid me for my efforts, as they'll repay any conscientious student and practitioner of this fascinating form of mental development. In an address at MIT, Dr. Osborne summed up as follows. "I will submit," he said, "that creativity will never be a science. In fact, much of it will always remain a mystery, as much of a mystery as what makes our hearts tick. At the same time, I submit that creativity is an art, an applied art, a workable art, a teachable art, a learnable art, an art in which all of us can make ourselves more and more proficient if we will." Another early advocate of this art is my good friend Dr. Whit Schultz. For many years, Dr. Schultz and I have talked about and explored the possibility of putting together a program on creative thinking that could receive wide distribution. A course that could be used by a family right in the home, as well as by schools, companies, professional people, salesmen, educators, executives, and so forth. Your recorded program, Creative Thinking, is the result. There is no one with whom I'd rather collaborate in preparing such a course than Dr. Whit Schultz. He's eminently qualified in the creative thinking field, and I've enjoyed working with him on every phase of this fascinating project. Our experience in teaching creative thinking during the last 10 years tells us that the best way to learn its techniques is by regular study and practice over a span of time. The longer you practice, regardless of age, the better you'll get. We therefore recommend that you study this program on a weekly basis for at least the next 6 weeks, working on at least 2 of the messages each week. That is, 1 record per week. You can, of course, complete the program in a week or less, but we advise you to learn these tested techniques for creative thinking more slowly, more thoroughly. Here, then, are our study recommendations for you. Please listen to message number 1, Treasure of Your Mind, several times. It establishes why we need to use more of our full brain power in our changing world. Message number 3, following the one to which you're now listening, will help you test your creativity quotient, your CQ. Listen to it all the way through. Then play it again, taking the test while you listen to it the second time. Then score yourself. Few people make a high score on this quiz early in the program, but later, after you've worked with the program for a while and again take the test, you'll show a marked improvement in your creativity quotient. Message number 4 aids you in examining the characteristics of creative people. Listen carefully to this message. Then, use the creative characteristics cards in your album to work on the traits described. This will help you to more fully develop them in yourself. Message number 5 will help you realize what a rich gold mine you have between your ears. After listening to it and understanding the 4 functions of your brain, I believe you'll be able to utilize more of your full mind power. For message number 6, your most valuable creative tools, you learn more about creative, open-ended questions, the kind which swiftly bring you new knowledge, sure to help you every day in your personal and business life. Messages 7 and 8 are titled One of History's Greatest Men and Sharpen Your Listening Skill. They spotlight the importance of listening. You'll learn about a great creative leader, and you'll also discover how well you listen. Message number 9 gives you tested ways to think in new dimensions. Put these systems to use right away. You'll be pleased with the positive results. Message number 10 takes you through the first steps of solving your own problems in a creative way and introduces the decision-making, problem-solving, and goal-achieving worksheet. This worksheet's simple step-by-step procedure shows you a tested way to effectively solve your problem. The creative methods described in this message will help you for the rest of your life. Message number 11, the brainstorm, continues to help you solve your problems and describes the technique of deferred judgment, more popularly known as brainstorming. This technique, which you can use many ways in daily decision-making, can be applied both on a solo basis and in a group. Message number 12, Ready for Action, challenges you to take creative action on your ideas by first evaluating them, then implementing them. It points out that creative thinking is not enough. You must be a solid innovator and an activator if you plan to progress. The 6-step action plan in this message tells you how. Message number 13, The Creative Person, introduces someone you ought to know. Here's how this person maintains the attitudes and employs the techniques that contribute most to creativity. And message number 14, the challenge of creativity, describes how creative thinking can change a laborious chore into an enjoyable, rewarding art. If you practice this art, you will become its master and win a master's rewards. Thank you. It's been established that creative people are intelligent, but conversely, intelligent people are not always creative. If you're typical, you're using only a fraction of your creative power, and the objective of this program is to increase your ability to use it. You're probably far more creative than you think. Like most of us, you've perhaps had at one time or another a test to determine your IQ, your intelligence quotient. But I doubt whether you've ever had a test to determine your creativity quotient, your CQ. Please get a piece of paper and a pencil. In fact, I recommend you always have paper and pencil handy. You'll find they're aids to creative thinking. Now, I'm going to read 16 questions, and as I do, please answer each one with yes or no, whichever honestly describes you best. You may want to listen to all of the questions first, then play the message again and answer the questions the second time through. Here's question number 1. Do you seek out and jot down ideas while listening to a speaker, chatting with someone, traveling, or just waiting in a reception room? 2. Do you take prompt and positive action on your better ideas? Do you do something with them? 3. Do you make it a daily habit to really use your eyes? Do you look at things carefully, thoughtfully? Do you absorb while you observe? 4. Do you ever ask yourself questions like these? How can I improve myself? How can I be more effective in my work? How can I help make my community a better place in which to live? 5. Have you ever written down your specific personal and business goals? 6. Do you spend some time each day purposefully reading or listening to others? 7. Do you make a steady effort to widen your interests and friendships? For example, do you read books or magazines outside of your field? Do you make new friends by taking an active role in church or civic groups? 8. Do you welcome ideas from everywhere? That is, do you encourage your family, friends, colleagues, and neighbors to share their thoughts with you? 9. Do you always try to understand something fully before you pass judgment? 10. Do you find yourself constructively discontented with the things around you? For example, do you often say to yourself, there must be a better way to do this, or how can I improve this? 11. Do you pick a time and place to think each day? No one has more time than you have. Each person is given 24 hours a day. Do you use any of this time for creative thinking or for just plain thinking? 12. Do you ever give away your ideas you believe might help someone? 13. Do you ever combine ideas or build big ideas from little ones? Do you ever adapt or associate ideas or modify, rearrange, or reverse the ideas you have? 14. Do you keep yourself in good mental and physical health, keep a bright outlook, and keep fit? 15. Do you consciously ask questions that require an explanatory answer rather than a simple yes or no? For example, do you try to ask questions which begin with these conversation starters? Who, what, when, where, why, which, how, and if? 16. What about your overall attitude toward life? Do you expect the best, and do you constantly search for it? All right, that completes the test. Now please add up all your yes answers. If you have between 11 and 16 yes answers, you have a positive attitude and many of the tools for creative thinking. You're well on your way to a high CQ. If you have between 6 and 10 yes answers, you've started up the creative thinking road, but you still have a way to go. In the sessions ahead, you'll be sharpening your creative tools, raising your creativity quotient. The objective of this session was to test your present level of creativity. I hope you did well on the test. If you didn't, don't worry. Your creative potential can be increased quickly and effectively by studying the principles you learn in this program and by conscientiously practicing the techniques of creative thinking. Thank you.